Hello, ladies and gents. Welcome to Waypoint's Media Club. I'll be your fill-in host. Jordan is out. He's got an important wedding. Hopefully, he isn't dead. That's usually the thing we kind of roll with when people are gone. So hopefully, he's alive. Let's pray to the gods that he's alive. No, he's already. But joining me today, one of the newest members of Waypoint, we got Chance. Chance, how you doing, man?
Oh man, it's a good day. It is a good day. I mean, this new Loki episode may be my favorite episode. So like,
really,
yeah, like
we'll get into that.
Oh, for sure,
yeah,
for sure.
We'll get into that 100%. But yeah, Chance, since you're kind of new to the club here of sorts, I just want to kind of bamboozle you a little bit.
Okay.
I want your favorite Marvel character.
Oh, okay.
I want your favorite MCU movie.
Okay.
And then just because of the nature of what Waypoint is, your favorite video game.
Okay.
Just want those three off the top, just so the viewers can get to know you a little bit.
So I would say my favorite superhero right now, right? That's the one that you started with?
Yep.
My favorite superhero right now is probably the Winter Soldier, but over like my entire life, it's been Spider-Man. I just really like what they're doing with the Winter Soldier right now, and making him a character outside of like Captain America, and just like the whole veteran turmoil thing. Like I really dig that type of stuff.
Yeah.
What was the second question? Sorry.
MCU movie. Favorite MCU movie.
Oof. I think I might have to go with Thor Ragnarok.
That's a good pick. Yeah. It's up there.
Yeah. I'm one of these people that really liked the first two Thor movies just because of like I like Lord of the Rings and all of that Norse stuff. Like I have a Norse mythology sock like tattoo, so like I'm
okay,
all
that's
in
fair.
On that. But I have to admit, and everybody knows, that second movie just did not hit like the rest of the Marvel movies did. So when Ragnarok came out, Taika Waititi, man, just working his
everything he does.
Oh,
everything his name is attached to is just fantastic. Like I don't remember what that movie, Jojo Rabbit? Is that what it's called? That like that movie is such a ride. Right? The movie is such a ride. If you haven't seen Jojo Rabbit, anyone watching this, watch Jojo Rabbit. You will not be disappointed.
Maybe the smallest.
Prepare yourself.
Yeah, prepare yourself. Maybe the smallest amount of time that Scarlett Johansson is on screen, but probably one of the most like, it is hit so much harder than her Endgame scene. If that tells you.
100%.
But
100%. Totally agree.
My favorite video game. Oof. So it's like day to day, right? Like any decent gamer, right? Right now it's pretty much anything that Hideo Miyazaki is putting out. Like Bloodborne just spoke to me on such a level. Dark Souls was never my thing, but it's either got to be Bloodborne or Given the Days, The Witcher 3. Like right now, those two I feel like are really just, I mean, I have a freaking a Bloodborne hunter back on that shelf.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, I feel like those are two pretty coveted picks, so I don't feel like there are going to be too many people, with pitchforks and torches at you. So those are pretty solid picks.
Yeah,
pretty solid picks.
Thank you.
Yeah. If my phone will unlock here, we'll move on.
I got a question for you real quick. Yeah. Which of these Marvel Disney Plus shows are you liking the most? Because none of them are bad, in my opinion. All of them pretty top notch, if I have to say.
I agree. I mean, we've had WandaVision, Falcon and Winter Soldier, and Loki, right?
Yep.
Is that it?
Yep.
Okay. Oddly enough, I think it was WandaVision. I just really like, because I'm also a Fallout fan, and there are vibes of that in Loki too. But there's something about the way the story is portrayed in WandaVision where you don't really know what's going on, and it takes an angle that you don't really expect. I mean, we expected it going in because of the trailers, but it's still like an unorthodox angle, at least in today's age.
Yeah.
I just love the way that narrative was strewn, and it made me like Vision, and I didn't care about Vision at all. So
same.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
So, I would say WandaVision, but I agree with what you said, where there isn't really a bad one. I think I was the most disappointed in Falcon Winter Soldier, but I think that's just because of COVID. Honestly, there's a lot of choices and like things that were kind of forced on their throat that they had to kind of pivot on the fly on certain stuff, and I feel like that really was a detriment. I feel like Falcon Winter Soldier had the potential to be like a 9 out of 10 series, and to me it was like a 6.57.
Yeah,
which is a solid, like better than average show. It's just I feel like it had a lot more potential in like their original vision, if that makes sense.
I totally agree. Like I really wanted to like Falcon and Winter Soldier more than I did. It wasn't bad. I really enjoyed it. I actually think I might like it more than WandaVision just because of my affinity for the Winter Soldier and Falcon.
Little bias there.
Yeah,
For sure.
But actually, like Loki's kind of it's tickling my fancy pretty hard right now. I gotta say,
Yeah.
like there's not any one standout moment, but we can get into that later in the episode.
Sure. Yeah, I feel like Loki is the most like. It might be the best one. It's not my favorite,
Yeah.
but it might be like the best one episode to episode where it's just like this one's kind of slow and next one picks up a little bit and there's not really a lull where I feel like the other shows there were definite lulls in those shows.
Yeah.
Like just this way WandaVision plays out and Falcon and Winter Soldier, I feel like a lot of that show was a lull in my opinion, but it was kind of there's a lot of what's the term exposition? Yeah, there's a lot of exposition in that show. Kind of had to be there. So yeah. Once my phone unlocks, my freaking touch thing is broken, and so I have to put my code in every time now, and it's
that's
terrible.
The worst, man.
Just the worst. First world problems, let me tell you.
Man, okay. Without a cell phone though, mine broke last week, and I had to go buy a new one.
No!
And just like the 8 hours I didn't have a phone, I wanted to just like crawl in a hole and die. I was like, what is going on in the world?
Yeah, speaking of first world problems, my God. But yeah, no, I would be right there with you. I'd be right there with you. So I want to start with saying at the top that I think Loki, like I said before, Loki's the best show I think so far. Like just coveted. Like I think it's a solid 8. Like, and I think the other shows you can argue like it's a 7 or below on the other ones at least. This show is bold. I think this show is very bold. I think they're tackling themes that are different. I think they're doing it in ways that are different. Like just to again at the top, like when they kill Mobius,
right?
Okay, when they do that, I was like, I'm sorry. What? What?
You had the gall, sir?
Yeah, and I think that's a perfect testament to like this show. I think it's just it. I'm not putting it to words exquisitely, but this show is bold. I think they definitely have a vision, and I don't think this vision was as affected as the Falcon and Winter Soldier.
For sure.
Yeah, wanted to say that at the top. And since we're talking about Mobius, is he dead? Is he actually dead? Do we think he's dead?
I wanted to ask you that too. I don't want him to be, but I hope he is because death needs to mean something. And I like to think that there's a reason why they're going after all these Lokis, right? And there's a reason why there's the 3 or 4 of them, if you want to count Loki Gator.
Sure,
Loki. But I don't know if him and is it B-15 or C-15, the agent that throws Sylvie her sword.
I think it's B-15 and C-20, but if you could totally swap those around, I'd be like, yep. Like I don't know.
It's a letter and 15. That's what I know.
Yep.
I don't like. So this is where it kind of comes down. I don't know that they would with Loki living still. Like there's been theories that like the sticks when they reset them, it's just like deleting them back to the timeline they were from. That's kind of up in the air with this last episode, but definitely think he's alive, but hope it's like, I don't know. I don't want it to be like the cheesy thing where like they go and they visit his real timeline in the 90s and see that he was a jet ski salesman. That seems like kind of like an easy pitch. Right. And they're not, like you said, they're being bold. They're tackling like religious matters in this show, right? So I don't know. I can't wait to find out.
100%. Yeah, this show is definitely good at being like, it's not even really like the main course of the show, but like little tidbits of like, I wonder where that's going to go. I wonder where this is going to go. And then you brought up the performance of C-20, B-15, I know, the African-American lady who absolutely kills her role when in the rain and she's crying.
Yeah.
Killed that. I love that moment. I think she, as an actor, was just top notch. I think, very, very good. Very good. She earned her money in the show. I'll tell you that.
She definitely earned that paycheck.
100%. I forgot what I was talking about now. Oh no, what was it? Oh my God, it's gone. Houdini.
We're talking about Owen Wilson and if he's still alive. Morbius or is it Mobius?
Mobius. Now you're going on me because I'm one that calls him Morbius because I have like Morpheus in the back of my head from Matrix. Yeah. But yeah. I think the thing with Mobius is he dead? I don't know. There's a theory online that states where, like you said, he could be going back to his timeline. There's also a theory where the only ones that don't die are Lokis because like there's some Loki manipulation in there with the batons and like maybe there's a head Loki running the whole thing. Maybe there's a head Loki running the TVA.
What a twist! The TVA
what a twist!
Founded by some curmudgeon old Loki.
Curmudgeon, I love that word. Oh man, the Gator Loki. It's Gator Loki the whole time. He's the head of the TVA.
That cold-blooded
Confirmed.
bitch.
Got it. Yeah, I don't know what it is. I really hope that if I had to do him justice, I think they would plop him back in his timeline and wipe his mind.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that seems like a lot for someone just poking you with a stick. I would love if they just like go back. My cat is attacking a box. If they just go back and they see him like through a prompter or something, and he's just riding off on a jet ski. Like that's all I want. Like I just want him happy. Do I think that's gonna happen? Not a chance. I don't think that's gonna happen at all. Because he's the best character in the show. Like, say what you want about Loki.
Yeah.
Say what you want about the TVA and all the mysteries. He is the show. I love Mobius in the show, and I did not expect to love Mobius. I'm not an Owen Wilson fan. I don't hate on Owen Wilson, but it's just he was never my kind of type of actor. He never like shined on screen for me. But this show, Owen Wilson is making the show for me.
And like, I feel like he was gone the perfect amount of time. He was out of the public's eye in Hollywood for just the perfect amount of time for us to like miss him, but not realize it until we saw him in the show. And then you see like all these clips coming out. I think Tim Geddes called his how like a variant of wow, and that is just like so perfect. Like just
what a tweet.
It. Yeah,
what a tweet.
How?
Nailed it. Yeah, I think you put that perfectly, where he was gone just the right amount of time for us to not know we were missing him. Because I remember when I saw the first trailer with him in it, I was like, was that Owen Wilson? Like, where did you go? Like, what happened to you?
Where have you been hiding, sir?
Yeah. He makes the show. I hope there's a happy ending for him. I just don't see it actually being the case.
Yeah.
And then
I kind of hope that, though, because it gives him a clean out, too. And if, like, the most we get out of the jet ski thing is him talking about the jet ski to, is it Kilgrave? What's the woman's name in charge of the TVA? The one right...
Oh, man.
You know who I'm talking about, right?
Yes, yes. I'm terrible with names.
Yeah,
like, for background, I work at a Walmart. I work retail. And people have name tags. I still don't know their name. I forget to read the damn name tag. Like, I'm that bad.
Yeah. Oh man, we should go drinking sometime and just forget everything because it sounds
already
like
gone.
2 peas in a pod. Yeah,
100%.
So going back to the beginning of the episode, were you like, what do you make of the Nexus event that happens while they're holding hands? Because I was really under the assumption that Loki had Sylvie underneath some sort of enchantment to make her like give up some secrets, and that was what was going on with the whole like planet thing. But then they hold hands, and like I got some theories, but they're like really loosely based. That's one question that just like was kind of shot past, like just clean.
I think it is pretty much told with one line. If I were to guess, I think it's Mobius's line of like, how much of a narcissist can you be that you love yourself so much that it caused the Nexus event bigger than they've ever seen, because the line just kept going straight. They're like, have you ever seen this before? Like, I don't understand what's happening. Yeah.
Just like a 3-degree incline.
Yeah, it's like it starts going the other way. Like, oh no. Yeah,
I wouldn't mind that as much. I just hope. My questions is what's she doing after this whole series is up, because they do have a season 2, right? They've already been greenlit for season 2. I believe they have. And if that's the case, I can't see her going anywhere. But it also is like, what are you going to do to me? Like in these next 2 episodes? You already killed him once.
I want to add that I think it's great that they have 2 episodes and they're already here.
Right.
There's 2 episodes left and they're already at like what they thought going in. Like when they walked in, I was like, oh, that's MacGuffin. Like they're here. They made it to the Timekeepers. But no, 2 more episodes of like full hour-length episodes. So yeah, that's great. That's meaty. Here for it.
And it felt so organic the way that they had gotten to the Timekeepers. I had forgotten we had 2 more episodes left. It was like, yeah, this makes sense. Okay, they're getting there. And then the episode ends, and I was like, oh, right. This wasn't even the penultimate episode. This was just a gift Disney decided to give us.
Yeah, it's great. I'm loving it 100%. Okay. They Timekeepers. Did you understand a word that like second one said? Because I didn't.
Not a chance. All of his vocals were getting caught in that just wonderful mustache. I couldn't take my eyes off of that thing. I even had subtitles up, and I was just glaring at that mustache like, what's your care regimen, dude? Because I need to know. And
Yeah,
they just
aesthetically,
yeah, for sure. Didn't really understand a whole lot of what they were saying, but I definitely didn't think they'd be androids like that. Call me whatever you want, but that hit me out of left field. Like, oh, because when Sylvie threw the sword, I was like, rookie play, dude. Like, nothing's gonna, like, they're gonna block that with something. And then it takes his head clean off, and you see sparks, and it's like, oh.
Makes me think, like, so no one's tried to touch them or anything? No one's been like, hello, like, hi.
That girl that's in charge straight up knows what's up, right? Like, she's covering for him hard, I would assume.
Yeah, because when she's like, what is the term? Prune them?
Yeah.
Is that what they say?
Yeah.
When Mobius is talking about how they're all variants, which I called. Thank you, everyone. I called that on episode 2. Thank you.
I had to give you a small clap while I was watching the episode because I had seen your guys' breakdown. You were one of the first. I think you might have been the first person I ever heard say that. I was like, man, Austin could not have seen this better. Could not have called it better. Oh my god.
Right. I don't. I'm probably wrong on everything else, but I called this major beat, which is arguably the biggest beat in the show.
I think so. Only takes one. Only takes one to win.
100%. But when Mobius is talking about like that truth that they're all variants, she's like pruning, like doesn't give him long to talk, but he does get out like where he would want to be, and I think that's a hint. I think that's a hint of where he actually goes when they prune him.
Okay, I like
if the happy ending. If the happy ending is true, which again I don't think it is, but if it is, I think it's that thing he mentioned.
So real quick, random thought pops into my head. If there is a season 2, do we just not see Mobius again for the rest of the season, and then like he makes a comeback mid-season next season? Because I would be game for that. Like if we left him where he lies, I don't know that it's not a bad spot to leave him in.
I would hate it, and then I would love it when he comes back, because it's one of those things where I want to see him on screen, so like it'd be a bummer. So you'd have that lull, and then as soon as he comes back, you're like, oh, and yeah, they would be pacing that out perfectly. So yeah, I'm with you on that. I do think that if Mobius comes back, it's going to be a different variant.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
I don't think it's going to be that Mobius. That Mobius is gone or dead or something. I think we might see that Mobius again. I don't think it'll be like the major Mobius that we see throughout the show if he comes back.
The Mobius we know is done.
But we still might see him. Yeah. But like if Mobius comes back, it will be a different Mobius.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
But we could see our Mobius, if that makes sense.
Hell yeah.
Okay.
I mean, one can hope.
100%. One more question I have is the Nexus event that apparently Sylvie causes by being a child, being a female child. Like is that how you read into that? Is it just because she's female?
So I did, and I still think that's part of it. But upon reflection, she's playing with Valkyries, right? Valkyries, infamously good, to a fault, right? I'm wondering if they're pruning every Loki that's, like, I've seen this floating around, every Loki that's good, for some reason. Okay. Whoever's in charge of the TVA doesn't like when Loki gets a little bit of heroism in his gut. And
he's a threat.
Yeah, exactly. Because the line that really stuck out to me is we may lose, like Loki, what makes a Loki, and I forget the whole line, I don't want to butcher it, but he ends it by like, we may lose badly, but we survive, right? And so I'm like, there's something that really hit me hard for no apparent reason, and I have to think that's going to play in somehow.
Yeah, I like that theory a lot, where it's like, as soon as a Loki turns bad, like that's the moment that clicks in, and they're like, or I'm sorry, turns good. That's the moment where they're like, nope, this can't happen. No, we're not having that. You are a threat now. We're getting rid of you.
I think her being a woman does throw enough like wrenches in the cog that would make them pick her up. But the line about the Valkyrie specifically is right when they show up, when she's playing with it. So that's why. What do you think it's because she's a woman? Like, what do you? Because I think that's a fair enough thing to like have pruned her and like make it very unjust.
I think you're spot on the Loki turning good thing. I think that sounds right to me. I can't think of anything else. If it is just her being female, I don't know if I'd like that. Like, I get it. It wouldn't be the timeline.
Yeah.
But it's like, okay. But yeah, that makes it seem like, okay, with this connection, and then, so they bring her in because she's a variant, and they don't like her, and she's a threat. Then she gets away, and the lady that lets her get away still becomes a judge. And I'm like, so in my mind, because this lady, I'm not even gonna attempt her names. I don't remember it. I'm gonna butcher it. She is like with Kang the Conqueror in the comics or in something. So if she didn't become a judge in this universe, I wouldn't think this. But because she still becomes a judge, I have to assume Kang is behind the TVA.
Yeah.
Have you seen the theory where the city in Ant-Man is the TVA? Yeah. And I'm like, oh, the color scheme is there too, like all the gold. And I'm like, oh, damn it. I don't know if I like that. I like it currently.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, oh, because I'm like hyped up about it. I'm like, oh shit, that could be right. But with like taking it back a step and thinking about it, I don't know if I'm okay with that. I don't know. Like I think I wanted that city to be its own thing.
Yeah.
Like there's another thing in the comics. I don't remember what it's called, but I'm not even gonna try it. But I wanted it to be that instead of the TVA. If it is a TVA, I'm like, okay. But yeah, what do you think about that? Those theories.
So I do think, because Quantum Mania is the next Ant-Man, right? And Kang the Conqueror is gonna be the villain in that. So I do think that Kang ultimately is behind what's going on. I do think that the woman running the TVA is, his partner, whether that be romantically or just in crime. I do think that they are attached. My thing is, I don't know that he's going to show up in this episode or in this show. I don't want him to, is the thing. Is like, I would like some nod to him, whether it's like a shot of his shoulder and like the back of his, like one of those like kind of, it's a bad movie, but like X-Men Apocalypse teasers where you kind of get to see who he is and what he's up to, but it doesn't outright show him. And I think that's how they'll get around that actor saying he wasn't in Loki, which, by the way, that actor, if you guys haven't seen, is it Lovecraft County, right? Lovecraft
Country.
That's it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Jonathan Majors, right?
Yeah, Jonathan
Is that
Majors.
his name?
He is phenomenal. First thing I've ever seen him in is that show, and man, I cannot wait for him as Kang if that's what he's bringing to the table.
Yeah, I've heard really good things. I've seen a few episodes of Lovecraft Country. It didn't blow me away. I'm not watching anymore, of course. I just think that Lovecraft stuff is just not my thing.
Okay.
And I don't think his performance was bad by any means. I think he killed his role. That kind of stuff just not for me.
And that's where like Bloodborne, totally Lovecraft. So that's why like it totally vibed with me. If you don't like Lovecraft, Austin is 100% right. You will not like this. You will not love Lovecraft Country.
That's fair. That's very fair.
What is that woman's name? It is Ravonna, is the woman we keep forgetting's name.
Does it say her last name? Because I feel like that's significant too.
Yeah, it doesn't. I need to find it. Loki Ravonna. Renslayer. Ravonna Renslayer.
There it is. Okay. Yep, that's for the people watching. That's what we're talking about. Sorry.
That's who we kept forgetting.
100%. And C20, B15, whatever.
I think
B20,
we got those
C15
nailed down finally.
Do we? I don't even know if I do.
Let me just.
Is it C20? Is it C20? Because if you told me it was B20, I'd be like, sure.
We just know it's not F. Yeah, it's C20.
Cool.
You know what? We may be wrong again. B15. Let's try that one. B15, African American woman who talks to Sylvie in the rain. C20 is the one that got killed. Which, like, what the hell, dude? Like, they just, you were talking about this earlier. They start asking questions. They're just bye-bye. They are gone.
Yeah. Same thing happened to Mobius. Just like happened to Mobius. They're like, oh, you know now? See you later. Bye-bye.
We want nothing to do with you anymore.
Goodbye. You learn the truth? That's too bad. That's too bad.
The truth will set you free, but it'll also kill you.
I mean, to each their own, I guess. But yeah, one more thing I wanted to bring up before any thoughts at all. You can throw anything at the wall with me. I'm not the best host, but that fight scene, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Did that fight scene seem off to you?
Yeah, it did.
I was watching it, and I'm like, is the music playing? I had to turn it up a little bit, and I'm like, oh, there's music here. Really odd choice for what's happening.
Yeah.
Really oddly choreographed. Like, you just see Loki in the background kind of doing this stuff.
Those two guys are coming at him, and he's like,
yeah. It was so weird. Like, I don't think it was terrible. It might be terrible. I don't know. But it definitely wasn't good. Okay? I'm watching this, and I'm like, are they fighting? Like, is that what's happening right now?
I can't tell.
What are your thoughts?
So that is the one thing I feel like Loki is kind of missing on is the action, right? Because in Falcon,
I would sum it up to choreography.
Right. Okay. Yes.
Like there are action-packed sequences, but like the way they're choreographed is a little odd.
And I've heard people kind of chalk that up to Tom Hiddleston, which like may be the case, but I really don't know that. Like they're really into. That might just not be like their strong suit for this production, right? And so it did bug me, and that is like the one gripe I have with the show is they could have nailed the choreography. That word.
Choreography.
English is
words
hard.
are tough.
Yeah, words are very hard. But like that, it just is very kind of unsatisfying. I don't mind it, but now that you say that, like it did kind of feel just a little disjointed, I guess.
100%.
Like the scene where they had the one really long take on the moon that was blowing up last episode, right? Where like if it tracked them as everything was getting blown up, that felt like weirdly disjointed to me. Like when he's talking to Lady Sif, even that, like I just don't know if that was who the principal of photography or the director's like strong suit is tracking action or choreographing action. So it bugs me, but they are nailing so much more
everything else.
Yeah, like so much more of like the mental game, and like not as much as Wanda, because that was definitely that show's strong suit, but it's just kind of like an amalgamation with a couple things missing of the two series we've seen before. Having said that, like I'm not looking at the action as much anymore. It's kind of like, oh, just let it be. It is what it is. It's serviceable enough for what's going on, but you are not 100%. The only one, because I had problems with the way Loki, because like Sylvie's beating everybody's butts up and down the stairs, and Loki's not holding his own way. I'm gonna put it that way.
Here's the thing: I saw Tom Hiddleston act in Kong Skull Island, and he didn't look super stiff in that movie. Like I don't remember him doing like when I think of Kong Skull Island, I think of that slow motion samurai sword scene. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, and there's guts everywhere, and I'm like, oh, it's so cool. So like I mean, maybe like you said, maybe the director of Kong Skull Island just had these scenes better placed to where it didn't show how stiff he is. But anyway, I don't think Tom Hiddleston is the reason. I feel like you can make stiff actor get a stunt double. Like I don't understand, but whatever.
I mean, dark-haired white dudes are like a dime a dozen. I mean, come on, like you got one on this podcast.
Chris, Chris,
you could have got Lepak to do it. What the hell, man?
100%. Chris, okay, I don't think Chris is a ninja, but he could probably do better than Tom Hiddleston out there doing this stuff.
Yep, exactly.
Okay, and bear with me. You brought up Lady Sif, so I do want to come back to that. But bear with me with this next comparison. Supernatural, the TV show. Mm-hmm. I love that show. The budget of that show, pretty low. Yeah. I wouldn't say the action scenes blow you away, but I love the character writing in that show. I love the writing in that show. And that's the stuff that I watch that show for. I love Dean as a character, and I like the writing of that show. The action scenes, I would say, are pretty bad, but the one exception I would say to the rule is it never took me out of the experience. It never was like, I wasn't laughing at things. There were some like lines I laugh at every once in a while, but the action itself never took me out of the experience. Now, coming back to this fight scene with Loki, it literally took me out of the experience. Like I couldn't watch it as a fight anymore. I literally didn't know if they were fighting. Like I was like, are you arguing? Are you fighting? Are you doing both? I don't understand what's happening.
Are you playing like Risk, trying to keep ground? Like what are you doing?
They're in the back. They're in the background.
Rock, paper, scissors over the squares.
Yeah, like it was just very odd for me. But I think that's the distinction I want to make, is that it took me out of the experience. Whereas other kind of poorly choreographed stuff, if it doesn't take me out of the experience, like it gets a pass at least. And this, I really don't think I can give that a pass. At least that scene, the show as a whole, the episode as a whole, it's fine. I'm cool with it. But like that scene, it was off. It was definitely off.
So is this the one scene that has definitely taken you out of it? Has there been previous ones in this series that have taken you out of it?
There was one more Tom Hiddleston scene where he's running, and like I think it's the end of 2, maybe episode 2, and like it's right after he like stops that building with that like weird spell apparently. And then they're like running, and you could tell that like they're running and not really running, and they only had like a select amount of room, like of green screen. But it took me out of the experience because of my like movie knowledge. It
Yeah.
wasn't like anything was done bad or poorly. It was just like they were working with what they had. So like that's the only other thing that comes to mind when I think of that. So I would give that a pass. I would be
Okay.
like, okay, this is what happened, you know.
You
But
couldn't see
the
any
scene,
chroma key like leaks coming through from the green
right,
screen.
yeah. But the scene we talk about with the fight scene of this episode, that I can't give that a pass. As
Yeah.
harsh as that is, like it was just bad.
Yeah,
It wasn't,
was
again,
bad.
I don't think it was terrible. Like it served its purpose of like progressing that plot line or whatever. But yeah, it was bad. So, Lady Sif, unless you have any more last thoughts on the fight scene.
My one thing is, did you hear the other two timekeepers chuckling? Like, haha,
Yeah.
when the
Like
one got
they
his...
cut the guy's head off and they're like, ho ho.
Yeah, so
You're dead.
we're like, this is where like I'm coming, like my mind is immediately going is like, were those proxies for the real timekeepers, or are those being controlled by one dude? Because it seemed like those two other androids, I mean, they're androids, so they can do whatever the hell they want, right? Like they're half human, half robot, right?
Right.
That just raised more questions in me than I think it should have, because it's like, well, these two are laughing independently. They are robots, but then they immediately shut off. It just, that got me going on like who's actually controlling these fellas.
Sure. I'll piggyback off that. I don't know if that's the case. I that's the only thing I can think of. The thing is about that, I do think that the reason they laughed will make sense later.
Oh yeah.
I don't know what that is. I couldn't tell you. I can't predict that. I got the variants. I'm done. I got my one check mark. I'm out of here. But yeah, I don't know what that is. It definitely caught my eye where I'm like, are they laughing? Like what? And then they just haha, and then they're done.
Yeah.
Like it was like okay.
That was odd, but
I do like
man.
Odd is a mustache man. I love it. But yeah, it definitely caught my eye. I like the idea that they're proxies for like the real ones. Maybe the real ones are just at a completely different location and they're just kind of moving them somehow with their magic abilities or whatever.
Yeah.
I have no idea the timekeepers in the comics, so forgive me if you're watching this and you're like,
is...
they can't do that. Like I don't know.
This is so far out of my leagues on the comics, man. If it's not Deadpool or Wolverine, like comics have no bearing to me.
Dude, that's same for me. That's a 110% same for me. I got this guy right here.
Oh my god! I knew where my mask. I have a Deadpool helmet here, sir. Yep, I have one of those. Oh my gosh! Hell yeah, dude! I love it. Is that a headphone stand?
And then, I'm sorry. What?
Is that a headphone stand?
I mean, it's not. I'm using it for that though. It's that bus that you can like program with an app and it will talk and say certain things.
Oh hell yeah, dude! That's awesome.
Yeah,
perfect.
I got it for like half. I would have 100%. I would have never bought it, but there was an ad in Target for it being half off, and I was like, okay, I'm sold.
I mean, you gotta spend money to save money, right?
100%. Sure.
that's what boomers say, right?
100%. And then my favorite movie is Logan. Like my favorite movie of all time is Logan, because that is just the best written movie for a character I think ever. And I'm also a Wolverine fan, but I think that's the first ever Wolverine adaptation, live action adaptation that did him justice, in my opinion.
Man, you gave me cold chills talking about that, just thinking about
Logan. Man, Logan is so good. I love this tangent, but we got to move on.
Yeah, we do. Can say you're talking about it all day.
100%. Lady Sif. Lady Sif. Cool cameo, right? Like I didn't expect that going into this.
It's kind of like I didn't realize how much I missed Asgardians until Asgardians, and I know they got that badonk, not just Lady Sif, but all of them. I really didn't realize how much I missed having them around, missed having all of Thor's like kind of team and posse around. But it was really nice to have her there. I thought what she was doing was equally as interesting as my interest in like her showing up, right? Like the way that they were using this time loop to torture Loki, like immediately goes into my, like, I just can see the breakdown of like a human psyche once they start doing that. And like by the end of it, not to jump too far ahead, but the line that Mobius gives Loki when he goes to pick him up, he's like, I don't know if anybody's told you this, but you are cared for and you will do something good, right? Like, because he's just been told for hours on end how he's a piece of shit and he's always going to be alone.
He says a line something in the terms of like, you can be good.
Yeah.
In case anyone told you otherwise, you can be good. And then I love Loki's reaction. It's just like a genuine smile.
Yeah.
He's like, you think you need it? Like, you think so?
I needed that today, Dad.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No. That might be my favorite line delivery. That wasn't even a line, but just the way he acted that smile. And then Mobius is in the scene, so it's obviously like an A+.
Oh yeah, anytime he's in the scene. Can we just
100%.
like make a blanket statement? Anytime Owen Wilson is on screen, it's the best scene in the whole episode. Even when he's on multiple episodes or multiple scenes in an episode, like just amazing guy. We're gushing
100%.
about him so much this episode.
100%. Yeah, I'll gush about him some more if I wanted to. I'm gonna move on, but yeah, Lady Sif's cameo. I think it served. I think there was another purpose, but for me, it reinforced what the first episode did, and it like made Loki good, or like it caught this Loki up to Endgame Loki of like kind of not in the same way, but I think it just reinforced that point. I don't know if that was the goal, but for me, it was like, see, Loki's good. He's good now. Holy crap!
Self-awareness of like just getting it drilled in. I hadn't thought of that, and I absolutely love it. That's my new favorite thing from this episode. Just like that self-awareness it brought.
Yeah, like the first thing got him there, like the first episode, which I just to piggyback off the first episode, I'm piggybacking off myself, I guess. But that episode blew me away with how much exposition was in that just that one episode about getting Loki almost to the exact same position he is when on Endgame, and it didn't drag on. It wasn't bad. It wasn't boring. Okay, but this is about episode 4. Episode 1 killed it. Okay, I wouldn't say it was like the most interesting episode, but like everything it set out to do was like very like egregiously hard to do, and they nailed it.
Right.
So yeah,
love it.
So, yeah, that scene, fantastic. It reinforced just episode 1 for me, and it made him self-aware of it. I loved it. Lady Sif showing up, I thought was cool, and then he brought up the fact that like, I'm sorry I cut off your hair, blah blah blah. That's a real thing. I'm pretty sure that's a real thing, like in Norse mythology. I could be wrong.
Lady Sif's hair.
Yeah, because it has to. I think it leads to. Oh my god, I want to get dated on this. I think it leads to Lady Sif going to, I don't remember what they're called, but that guy who makes the Stormbreaker, like his kind, and that's what starts the Asgardians like going to them to make them weapons. It's because Lady Sif goes to them and they make Lady Sif's hair gold, like out of like pure gold or something. What? I don't know, I could be wrong.
No, that sounds like Norse mythology though. Like I'm gonna have to look this up. That is awesome.
I know random stories about Norse mythology because I had a class not about Norse mythology, but one of the segments was about Norse mythology, and we each got our own little story, and that was my story. Where like Loki cut off Lady Sif's hair, and then she went to they're not trolls, they're not dwarves, they're just short people. Like I don't know, but they're huge.
Yeah,
but they look like giant dwarves. Whatever.
Are they supposed to be giants?
I think so, aren't they? Am I wrong?
They may. I don't know. We're on the same page. I'm not sure, but
cool.
It worked.
Sure. But yeah, they mentioned the cutting off the hair, which is a real thing. I don't know to what extent, but that is real in Norse mythology. So I thought that was cool. Yeah. So overall, this episode, I think, while it wasn't my personal favorite, I think it struck a good balance of exposition and action, whether it be bad action or not. It was action, it had exposition, it had like character arcs. So like I think this episode was like probably right under the first episode as like the most ambitious. Okay, like it does. They do a lot in this episode.
Yeah, they do.
And I think they nailed it. So, any thoughts on the episode overall? Or anything else you want to bring up?
You know, like I would like to speculate about, or you know, that's like always the thing that you're supposed to do at the end of these is speculate. But like honestly,
the Lokis.
Any speculation?
The Lokis, right?
The Lokis for sure. I think about like what they're gonna do with those Lokis, like what's going on. Are all of the Lokis in this one, you know, timeline that they just get to run havoc on? And I know whatever answer I come up with isn't gonna be as good as the one they're telling me, which really speaks to Disney Plus's ability to turn these cinematic characters into characters with so much more breadth to them because of these TV shows where we get to spend so much more time with them. And like, can we ask for any more than that? Like, I feel like we're being nitpicky trying to pit them against each other because we're just so full. We've been eating constantly this year and I love it. I'm here for it.
I'm with you 100%. I think now just thinking about that, like the way that these TV shows are spaced out, I think this is how you do an origin story. I'm not saying this is an origin story, but I think this is like perfect, like perfect form of media to do an origin story and then give them their own movie.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Definitely.
Like if we had the like Shang-Chi or however you pronounce it, forgive me, like the 6-episode miniseries and then got that movie, that'd be so cool. But
yeah.
Anyway,
That definitely opens the door up for like, you know, phase 5 and onward. Like the more complex characters, I really do hope they do what you were talking about and give them a little, even if it's only like 2 episodes where we get to see like the trauma of, you know, Ben Parker dying, or what. That's a poor example. Yeah, we need to see that again. But just like developing that so we don't have to see it again in the movies, or just there's so much room to play with now.
I just feel like origin stories, whether you like them or not, which again we've got them so many times. If they're done right, they're amazing.
Mm-hmm.
If they're not done right, it's like I've seen this already. Like just I can move on with it. Yeah. And there are ways to go around that. Like there are movies that were like I've been doing this for 4 years. Like the whole the way the video game Spider-Man starts out, it's like I've been doing this for a while, and you just believe it, and it makes sense. And but so before we just say whatever we want about overall about the show, I do want to talk about the Lokis at the end.
Okay, definitely.
We've touched on them in a little bit, but what do we think? Because you mentioned it's like their own little realm. Like, so did they themselves go there? Were they when they get pruned, or do they turn up there? And is there another Loki ahead of them that just isn't here? Also, there was a theory that like because the voice is off screen, I'm pretty sure the voice was that older gentleman. Forgive me, I know he's very famous. I just don't remember his name. But there's a theory online that the one actually speaking was the alligator, and that's why it was off screen.
Yeah, but I hope it was the alligator.
That'd be great.
So this is where like Loki's conniving really comes in, right? So there was a theory floated, or at least it came to me through New Rockstars, the YouTube channel. Go check them out. They have amazing breakdowns.
I know them as well.
Yeah. Oh,
I watch them pretty often.
Yeah, they're great. But he was talking about how maybe the Lokis, you know, they got tired of pruning them because anytime they prune a Loki for real, he'll come back, and then they keep having to deal with him because his timeline gets reset, right? And so if they're just capturing these Lokis that are a problem and throwing them into this bin to keep them away, so that way they don't keep like, it's like cordoning off the spawn point, so you'd always know where they're going to spawn. There's that idea, but I don't think this is happening to any other group of people. And I go back and forth between what I was just talking about and Loki's figuring out the whole reset process, and they're plucking them out as they're getting reset. Because they're talking about, oh, we need to move like we need to get you out of here to get you safe. And so I'm not sure if they're hiding in like another doomsday, and as like Lokis are being sent to be reset, they're like pulling them out of the timeline somehow. I wouldn't put it past Loki to do that. That's what I'm going to say is happening. They're rescuing Lokis to try to amass a big enough squad to go take down Kang, because that's who's going to be at the end of this.
I think it will be in the
hard predictions.
In the way I think you're right. I think it's gonna be the way you described, where it's like you see his shoulder, and then he's like walking away while giving an order to someone or whatever.
Yeah.
But okay. Here's the thing. The shows before this have taught us that's probably not gonna happen.
Mm-hmm.
But it feels like it has to happen here.
Yeah.
So I'm so 50-50. But in my mind, this isn't gonna be what it is. This is what I want it to be. Not Lady Sif. What's the female Loki's name?
Sylvie.
Mm-hmm. Sylvie. In my perfect universe, Sylvie's the head of these Lokis.
Okay.
And this is Sylvie's plan all along, is to get sent back here to gather Lokis.
Okay.
So she gathers her army, because this TVA location that they're getting dropped might be outside of time, because like it's time variant, so like they can just like go back to wherever they want to go. But because the thing was broken, she wasn't mad it was broken because they couldn't get off the freaking thing because they're going to die. She was mad because she couldn't go back to that time.
Yeah.
She was mad because she couldn't bring Loki, whatever. I think in my perfect mind, Sylvie is the head of these Lokis, and Sylvie has another plan that we don't know about. And Loki's going to be filled in on it. And Loki, that we know, is probably going to die. And then the season 2 will follow Sylvie as Loki. So our Loki will die to help Sylvie's plan, or whatever plan this is. In my mind, it's Sylvie. It could be someone else. But whatever plan this is to stop the TVA, which again, it could be led by another Loki. We don't know. But yeah, that's my theory going into this. Do I think it's right? Not a fucking chance. But I'm throwing it out there.
That is the first time I've heard that theory, and I really, really like it. Like that holds some water, and I mean, you're on a roll with the variants already, so yeah. Pay attention to what Austin's saying, everybody.
Yeah, pay attention to what I'm saying for once. Just don't say that Sea of Thieves is the dying game. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Everybody during E3 will get so mad.
Yeah. So, any other thoughts about the show as a whole? Anything you want to bring up?
Not especially. I really can't wait for these last 2 episodes. Honestly, like the more we're talking about it, the more excited I get because, like you said, everything we said isn't going to happen, right? And that just makes me so excited because it feels like these series get torn apart by the internet and they still find a way to surprise us. And so
it's so fun though.
Yeah.
God, I love talking about these shows. Like, is there any other property that gets talked about like this? Like, I don't think there is.
No, I totally agree with you, and I would go even further. I don't feel like there's another streaming service that has anything on, like, because you look at what's going on with Mandalorian and how crazy that is, and like that is a whole other box of worms. And then you have these Disney Plus shows for the more Marvel side, and there's just such a fervor for them. Like, I just don't see that in other streaming services, and I got to give Disney Plus flowers for it because holy crap,
they're killing it. Yeah. Absolutely killing it. You know for a fact Disney Plus is a thing because of Marvel. I don't think Disney Plus would be a thing if Marvel didn't exist. It might be a thing on the side, like toss us a few bucks and you can have all these movies, but
they'd have Star Wars on Hulu or some bullshit. Like,
exactly.
Yeah.
The price you're paying is for these shows. The price you're paying is for the Marvel license. I'm not taking away from the fans of Disney because there are a lot of gems in Disney's lineup. Don't get me wrong, but you're paying for Disney Plus because of Marvel. And if I'm wrong, go ahead at me. I'm cool. Yeah. I'm cool with that.
I'm not paying for Disney Plus because of some Disney
Turner and Hooch or whatever.
Yeah, or like. Oh, my wife's gonna kill me. Anyway, it doesn't matter. There's a Disney Plus original show. Jennifer, what's the Disney Plus show? Xenon. I'm not watching it. I don't have my account for Xenon. All right, like I got it for Loki. Exactly.
Yeah. No, I'm 100% with you. So, in my closing thoughts, I'm gonna piggyback off what you said. These last 2 episodes, I cannot wait to see these episodes. I think it's the most hyped I've been going into like the penultimate. I cannot talk now. Clearly, we got to end the episode.
Yeah.
But the most hyped I've been going into the penultimate and the final and the finale. And while I liked WandaVision a little bit more, I wasn't as hyped for that. I was just shocked by how much I liked Vision in that show. Like they freaking nailed it. But these two, the way they're weaving this narrative, everything is working for me except for the fight scenes. Yep. But tiny little gripe, I can just toss it in the waistband. I don't care. So that's my final thoughts on episode 4 and the show going forward.
Hell yeah. We're in a good spot, man.
Great spot.
Full. Oh my God. Call up Tyrese because we need to give him some food. I know he's hungry.
He always hungry. Yeah. So you saw F9 then?
Oh yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. I saw it last night.
Okay, well, we'll end the episode. 100%. So this has been Waypoint's Media Club, where we talk everything media except for books. Apparently, I feel like I'm legally obligated to say that. That's Jordan's shtick. I don't support that. I might support that.
You guys ever want to talk about the Witcher books? Hit your boy up.
We don't do that. I just told you. Come on, man.
I mean, on the side though.
Waypoint's Media Club Plus will be book clubs all with Chance.
Listen to Chance stutter through English.
We all stutter through English. Let's be very clear here. I know me personally, I'm terrible at it. But I'm gonna end this episode. Thank you for watching so very much. My name's Austin. This has been Chance. We're out. Bye bye.